I disagree because me being a sport guy, I kind of know the history between the two.
Hmm.
They pretty much were best friends,
Okay.
and they actually had a mentorship program together where they mentor a lot of young men. And knowing the background of Shannon Sharpe's family and his upbringing and how he feels about his sister and his brother Sterling Sharpe and what Sterling went through, they
Hmm.
kind of disagree and feel the same way Ray does. Um, he's on these platforms. He's pushing Rose Sparks as far as a enhancement drug, and he's also pushing alcohol.
Okay.
He's a mentor to the Colorado State kids as well with his partnership with Dion, and I just feel like he doesn't need to promote those type of things. It's like your podcast and your platform is big. Like the Shay Shay Club Shay Shay is big, and then the Nightcap is big. And the topics
Hmm.
that he talk about and him referring to himself as an unk, he's a mentor to basically America. He's like America's uncle, just like Cosby was America's dad. So he kind of veered off from the direction that he should have went in. And that's why I feel like Ray is kind of calling him out on that. And I believe he actually brought Ray on Club Shay Shay before and interviewed him, if I'm not mistaken.
So let me ask you a question. With all that being said, whether right or wrong, because we can argue, we can debate back and forth on Shannon Sharpe's responsibility to people about anything outside of himself. We can go back and forth on that all day. Here's my question. Why do you think that it's okay for him to say that publicly about somebody who he knows and can get in touch with and disagree with privately?
I believe he told him privately already. And I don't think he went on the podcast to actually speak about that publicly. I just think he was asked a question and he wanted to
You don't think
speak
that
on
Ray
it.
Rice is intelligent enough to know not to speak publicly about private matters that he feels about somebody?
I think he had the blessings of mutual friends and family of Shannon Sharpe
What
to
do you
actually.
mean? You can't get a blessing of people around me to speak about me? What do you mean?
I spoke to you already, though. I spoke to you
So
privately
what? We
already.
disagree. And that don't mean that we disagree. You spoke to me. I feel one way, you feel the other way. That don't mean that you can go and start to publicly bash me
I don't think it's bashing, though. I think it's constructive criticism.
on a public platform about somebody. So okay. So what good does it do? If you got my phone number and let's say me and you disagreed and we talked, right? And so you think that going publicly on another person's platform to talk negatively about me is going to do what exactly now?
I don't think it's speaking negatively, and I think it kind of it kind of shows the elephant in the room. It brings it into the world's view now, the elephant in the room. And with Shannon Sharpe having the platform that he has with Club Shay Shay,
Mhm.
now you can bring us on to discuss it further.
Let me ask you a question. Would you do that again? Would you do that to somebody that you know?
If I spoke to them privately and I've commenced with mutual friends and family, and I have the blessings to do so with good intention, I would bring it up if
Blessings
I'm
from
gonna
who?
from the family and mutual friends.
About the person that you're about to talk negatively or talk about on another person's on public platform?
Yeah,
You would
I
you
don't
would
think
you would
again,
so
I
you
don't
would
think
say,
it's
hold on, wait. A person that you know in real life that you disagree with, if you get the blessings from friends and family, you feel like it will be okay for you to do that against somebody that you know in real life.
yes, because I don't think he said anything negative. I just think he called them out on the person who he known to be. And Shannon Sharpe is still that person. And I actually I follow another YouTuber. I don't know if I could shout him out on your platform, so I won't. I can email you the name,
I know you
but
can say whatever you want to say. I don't care. I
so
don't
it's
I'm
a
not the type of person. I don't care about that.
okay, it's a very credible source, Carcino for Life. He's also
Okay.
a person that's in contact with Kwame Brown. They do a lot of work together. They have a
I know
mentorship
Kwame
program.
Brown.
Yeah, so they have a mentorship program that they also run, in Saginaw, where they mentor a lot of kids and stuff. So from that perspective, when you call yourself a mentor and you're around these kids and they aspire to get to be who you are and get to where you are, you have to hold yourself accountable at a certain level,
what is the Carcino and Kwame thing have to do with anything?
because they also mentor kids. And Carcino did a lot of research. He's a journalist.
Okay.
He did a lot of research on Shannon. He digged into a lot. He knows how his brother Sterling feels. He knows how his sister feels
Listen,
about the
listen, listen,
situation.
listen, bro. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't care what people research. I don't care who knows who. Nobody can speak on my behalf about somebody, and nobody can speak on somebody else's behalf about me. I don't care who you are. I don't care how credible you are. I don't care what you think you represent and if you think you can get the blessing. Nobody can speak on me, and I can't speak on that person on somebody else's behalf.
I understand.
So if you saying that you would publicly talk about somebody that you know on a public platform and in a way in which you even, I don't care if it's good intentions or bad intentions, for me that's a red flag, because that just tells me that if you feel righteous enough about it or you feel justified, then that means that I can't have you around me because you'll throw me under the bus or you'll put my business out there or how it is that you feel about me, even if you got my phone number, just because I don't necessarily agree with you. I think that that is one of the biggest red flags ever. That is a character flaw.
But it's not me throwing you under the bus. So in Ray's defense, how does he deal with the
Don't
kids
talk
that
about me on no public platform in a negative, in any way that would hold me accountable if you know me in real life.
so
Though that's the for me personally, that's the rules of friendship.
I understand.
That
So
is the
in
rule. You will never ever know that me and this person or me and him or whatever have a beef. You will never know it unless it came from them. If I know you in real life and I can absolutely call you. And
so
you can't get the blessing of nobody around me. You can't get the blessing of my daughter, my wife, my friends, my family. You can't get the blessing of nobody to be able to talk about me if you
so
supposedly know me in real life.
I understand. So what if we had a mentorship program together? How do
I don't
you
care.
get that? How do you get that across to the kids that you are now around every day? And Shannon has gone off and done other things, and he hasn't come back to the ground level and pretty much explain himself and his decisions to the kids that he mentored.
You don't have to explain nothing to nobody. We got something that we got to keep moving over here. If you guys want to continue to be a part of the program, you can. If not, not, then don't be it. I
Okay.
don't, bro. Shannon Sharpe owes nobody no explanation for how he decides to live his life, right or wrong. Now, us as observers and as people that are content creators, we can criticize or give commentary on it because he's a public figure. But when you're talking about friendship, that's a completely different conversation, in my opinion.
But we're talking about accountability, though. It's not even. It goes beyond
You
friendship. Just
you can't hold me accountable. You can't make me do nothing. And you going on a public platform, don't do nothing. So what you think, again, the question was, what do you think happens after you go on Patrick Bet David and you say some shit that I don't necessarily agree with?
I mean, it just brings awareness to it, and now we could have the conversation in depth.
I'm not talking to you after that. Now we enemies. Now we staunch enemies. Now you burnt the bridge, we enemies, and it ain't no conversation, it ain't no coming back. And now you can't control how I react to it. You can't hold me accountable on somebody else's platform. What kind of junk is that?
I
Y'all
mean,
think that do y'all think that that's okay?
I don't think he spoke on Shannon just out of the blue like that, though. I believe with what's going on with Shannon, that kind of put the light on Shannon, and he asked, being that they won championships
Just
together and have
because
history.
somebody asked you a question don't mean that you got to answer it. I don't have to answer nothing to nobody. So just because somebody asks, I gotta give them what it is that they asking me about. Oh man, you know what? I'm not even sure what's going on with Shannon. I wasn't even paying attention to be honest with you. What's the next question? That wasn't sufficient. Now we all reacting to it, and you want to talk about him because he down right now, and you basically I look at those type of people as worse than the people that talk negatively about you, because you know me in real life, and so now I look at you as a snake.
But I mean, I don't. I still think Shannon's a good person. Like we all human. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect, and I believe that when we hold each other accountable, it leaves room for
Privately,
improvement.
privately, privately. You don't stand up and try to embarrass me publicly. You don't talk about my character publicly if you are my friend. I
But
don't
I
know
mean,
why do y'all think that this is okay?
no, it's like he put himself in a predicament where his actions are on display to the world. So
So
I don't
what? That
think
don't got
he.
nothing to do with you. That
I
means,
don't.
listen, you know what happens when my friends is going through some shit or they make a mistake or they fumble in public? You know what I do? I
What's that?
double down on the support that I have for them privately. I ask them, hey fam, do you need anything? Hey, if it's any money that you need to go through or whatever, I don't abandon my friends and start talking publicly about them when they're going through shit. I hold them down even. That's when I get closer to them. Because see, I cannot call you for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months if you're doing well. Oh, you know what? I see you doing well, or I'll check in on you periodically or whatever. But when you going through some shit, even if it's your fault and I'm your friend, that's when I'm really hunkering down with you. And that's when I'm gonna start tapping in with you and making sure that you straight. I don't turn against you when the world is against you. I don't kick you when you down. I don't start talking about you publicly when everybody else is doing the same thing. That's when I start to hold you down, even if everybody else is against both of us. All right, we'll skip it. You was my dog before all of this podcast and stuff in the first place.
But let me give you an example. So because you're pretty uh equipped when it comes to the Bible and religion and everything. So with Jesus and the 12 disciples, right? When one of the disciples pretty much lied on Jesus, Jesus still held him accountable and let him know that he was aware that he knew about it and still pulled him up. So how can it? Why should
What
it
is
be any
that? What does that
different?
got to do with using somebody else's platform in order to disparage somebody?
It's kind of the same thing. It's like
It's not.
history repeats
When
itself.
did Jesus go to publicly rebuke his friends?
No, he made the disciple know that he was aware, and
That's a
he
private conversation. When did Jesus go to publicly rebuke his disciples?
he didn't.
So what are
But
you? What are we talking about?
I'm talking about the other way around. The disciple pretty much going against Jesus.
That has nothing to do with what we talking about. We talking about a public rebuke of a person that you have a access to in private. You know, I got a lot of friends. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a lot of friends. You know, one of my friends, Marcellus Wiley, right? A lot of people know who he is, football player,
Right.
really good dude. Got his number in my phone right now. He literally just texted me the other day. Do you know that me and Marcellus was scheduled to actually do an interview? Um, we literally was scheduled to do an interview around the time where he was being accused, and there was some wild stuff that was coming out against him. I wouldn't do the interview. It would have been a perfect time for me to get more visibility and to get a lot more traction and to get the story and all of that stuff. Do you know that I wouldn't do the interview simply because that's just not the real thing to do, and he needs to make sure that he good and he can take care of his people and his family and stuff like that, and that he handled the situation. So my thing is, yo fam, you good? You need anything? So on and so forth, whatever, blah blah blah. That's my thing. And even today, he still texts me. He literally still texts me every day. Or not every day, but he texts me regularly.
Right.
He texts me regularly,
Right.
right? And I'm
Right.
not gonna put what we be texting about, but we text on a regular basis. I'm not, if I know you in real life, I'm not gonna do you dirty, even if it's for $1, even if it's for visibility. I'm not doing that.
But I don't think it was negative or dirty though. I
Okay, well,
don't think
that's where we differ.
I don't think it was dirty. I just think that he's exhausting all of the avenues to pretty much bring his friend back up to speed. That's his friend and his brother. They went to war together. Blood,
Yeah,
sweat, and
okay. On
tears.
a public platform. I got you. We just listen, we fundamentally disagree on what friendship is. Um, and how you're supposed to operate when you know somebody and you met somebody in real life, we just completely fundamentally disagree on that.
Right, right.
That's cool. I
And I
appreciate
got
you, bro.
right, and I understand what you mean by integrity and pretty much loyalty and all that stuff. Like, I'm not saying that I would like drag my friend through the mud, but if I can bring awareness to the situation and let my friend know that I feel a certain way and I'm hurt about it without pretty much embarrassing him and making it seem negative. I don't think he blatantly did anything negative against Shannon other than just speak about the issue on a public platform, like you said. That's where I agree with you on the public.
I think that that's a Judas behavior, and I would
Right.
never want to be friends with a type of person like that. If you're the type of person that is like that, for anybody that is in my circle, if I haven't discovered that you're that type of person yet, please remove yourself from around me, and don't call me, block me, don't be my friend. I don't need that type of friendship.
Right.
I don't want to do business with that type of person. I don't want to be around that person. I don't want that type of person to be introduced to my daughter. I don't want that type of I don't want to be around their family. I don't want to be around that type of person. That
I,
person is sketchy and dirty, and I look at that as one of the biggest betrayals ever.
so let me ask you another question. So with the situation with let's say Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill, right? When Rick Ross put out an album and pretty much spoke on their situation, that's a public platform and that's an album that the whole world is listening to. So how is that any different from Ray going on a public platform and just bringing light to it? Same way Rick Ross brought light to Meek Mill's situation.
I don't know anything about that, but more importantly, um, I don't want none of my friends speaking on my situation.
Oh, so rap album, nothing, just don't speak on it.
No, why would my personal friends participate in something that I don't know nothing about what their relationship is and none of that. I don't think that Rick Ross make all of the smartest, wisest decisions when it comes to stuff either. I don't look at Rick Ross as my litmus test for whether or not you doing the right thing or the wrong thing. If somebody knows me in real life, you don't speak on my situation.
But you got examples all across the board when it comes to hip hop, like Beyonce with Lemonade.
I don't give a fuck
They,
about no hip hop artists.
but it's the
Those people
same.
ain't my. I don't look up to them as a moral compass of how I should be living my life. I look at their music and I say it's entertaining and it's a vibe to ride to. I don't look at them as good people. Why would I look at hip hop artists as an example of how I should be operating with my own friends? I don't look at them. They ain't nobody to me.
No, but so a situation with Jay and his childhood best friend who put him on the game. Jay throws little jabs throughout hip hop. Right? Why don't he? That's a public platform. Why doesn't he just?
I don't follow hip hop artists as a moral compass of how I should live my life. I don't know why you keep using a different example. I don't care about none of these people.
Because you said public platform, like it's basically been done throughout history. Not to say that they embarrassing or
I
they
don't
shed
know
light on
them.
it.
I don't know their situation. I don't know them.
I
I,
got you.
I stand on what I said. If
I
you
understand.
know me in real life and you talk about me on a public platform and you can call me, then we have to depart. We are not cool anymore.
I understand.
And I got some real ones in my life. And it don't matter how angry I get at them in real life. It don't matter how bad they think that I am or how bad that I think that they are. And we go back and forth and we have our little kerfuffles or whatever it is that you want to call it. And at the end of the day, 6 months later, we'd be like, man, we were so done for going back and forth with each other. But we've been friends since kindergarten. Kindergarten. I have people that I have been friends with since kindergarten, bro, because we don't move like that.
I
They would
understand.
never ever say anything negative about me, no matter how big of a platform that I have, and I would never say nothing negative about them and air them out.
See, I don't think, but you keep saying negative. I don't think he said anything negative. He didn't say anything negative. All he did was say he never used to drink, meaning he
Ooh.
changed as a person. That's not who he is. Shannon is not a drinker, and Shannon will tell you that he doesn't drink, but he's promoting the alcohol.
Listen, bro.
So why are you promoting something that you
Listen.
don't
You will
use?
never get me to say anything negative about my guys on a public platform. It's just not gonna happen.
But
I
Anton,
don't care if they're wrong as two left shoes. That is not for me to
I understand.
negatively talk about my guys on a public platform. Whatever we deal with, whether they agree with me and or they disagree with me privately, I am not going to throw my guys out on the bus. I'm under the bus. I don't care.
But what did he say that was negative? That's where.
Everything he said, him talking about what he think is a problem about them, it is negative. Anything you say negatively or anything that you say that people don't agree with me about is negative.
I understand. I understand. We could agree to disagree, and
That's cool.
I
I'm with
get
it.
it. I get it. I appreciate you bringing me on.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
that's
Thank you for coming on, big dog.